cook, welcome to another day more to my channel. Look, we're gonna make a beer meatball today, okay? And for that you don't need obviously minced meat. I have pork with onions, I have parsley, crushed tajito, I have about 6 cloves of garlic, a beer. Of course I'm going to add a little cognac, breadcrumbs and a few almonds just to thicken the sauce if we need it. Well, I forgot to say the egg, okay? I put it here. Well, and I also have to put the flour, but hey, so as not to put everything here and mess everything up here in the kitchen. Well, look, I have about 400 grams of minced pork here. I have minced this here in the Thermomix. I always buy whole meat and I chop it here to my liking. Look, I got about 67 cloves of garlic here, huh? And then I took them, I crushed them, I chopped them. And I'm adding half of them here to the meat and the other, well, we'll leave it for the sauce. And I'm going to put the trick of this in the sense that it's very juicy. Add onion to the meat. I cut it quite chubby. Don't believe it. It would have to be made a little smaller. But since I have made it for the sauce too, well, I have cut it all the same. But a little smaller would be better. This way I avoid adding bread with milk that we already know about dairy. So much dairy is not good at all, and so much real bread, huh? So I prefer to add a little bit of light breadcrumbs and add the onion, which is very juicy, and I avoid all that well. We have added the onion to the parsley, we have added the garlic, now I have a teaspoon of pepper, that's to taste. An egg, huh? Here I'm going to throw an egg. Perfect, and I don't think I've left anything in the ink tank. We're going to move it. I'm going to add a little bit of salt only, not much, because the sauce then also has its little bit of salt, huh? And it's always better to fall short than to have no solution later. I'll add the screenshot and then I'll tell you one thing. If you want to do this and leave it the night before with all the dressing, this is perfect. Nothing happens. On the contrary, take even more dressing. No, well, nothing. I'm doing it at the moment. I'm not leaving it overnight and nothing. Look, here I'm going to add 1 or 2 tablespoons. It depends on what I need, of breadcrumbs. And it's very ground. That's why I say, man, everyone in his house does whatever he wants. I'm giving an example of what I do here in mine. Okay, I've seen that there is a large majority of what you throw. Well, that's a crumb of bread in milk and such. I wouldn't like it so much, okay? But that's about taste, of course. And each one does what they want, okay? For me, the onion makes the meat very, very juicy, very good. Look, I already have work ahead here, huh? If not, then our work accumulates. And I already have my flour prepared here, all-purpose flour, of course, and nothing. And we start to give albolitas. If you see that the onion comes out, we don't put it inside and everything inside. Okay, there it is. Then I'm going to give you a little trick when I fry the meatballs so that you can do it too. Which is quite simple and is very good. That is to always have the meatballs on hand. Look at nothing. I'm not making it very big here. Wow, with 400 grams it suits me. I'm going to get a good dish, okay? You can accompany these with French fries or with white rice too. And with the sauce in any way, they are very good. There it is. I'm going to finish with this and come on. Well, I'm already overflowing it with flour here, okay? Well, you have already seen it that I had battered it previously. I tell you, if you want, you can pass it through a strainer. You give it a few shakes like that. I won't need it because now, while I leave them on the plate and prepare the oil, one thing and another will heat up. You will see how the meatball has consumed a little flour and turned out perfect. What we do will be much crispier afterwards, okay? Well, the oil is already hot and I'm going to fry the meatballs, okay? These beer meatballs are a very easy and delicious recipe. Hey, they're going to be fantastic. Look, that you see what I was telling you, that there is no need to shake them a lot more because they themselves have caught it. If we shake them a lot, what is going to happen is that they are not going to absorb flour and leave. They are going to open us, okay? We already have them all here while we wait to fry them. Well, here at that point, we're going to turn it around. What I'm going to tell you is the trick. The thing is that once the meatballs are fried, if you make a lot of them, you can. Once you let them cool, and once they are cold, you freeze them in zip bags. Or you put them in a tupper, and you always have meatballs. When you feel like it, you take it out of the freezer, and you just have to make the sauce for it. Look what a better idea. Well, chop chop, look at what my meatballs have. Beer meatballs, it's an easy and delicious recipe. Well, nothing, look at this point. We have to take it out now. Look what tastier you have to fry them well, huh? Because if we leave them half fried, undercooked, nothing more than golden, when you put them in sauce, they open, hey, they fall apart. Come on, let's get them all out. Well, I have a saucepan here right now and I'm going to put olive oil in it. I don't use frying oil because that already has flour. Apart from the fact that I have made it with another oil, I have fried it with sunflower oil. This is olive oil for the sauce. Okay, you can have fried it in olive oil, but no, look, that's already hot. The oil is warm. We're going to add the onion. We continue with the medium-low heat. Okay, let's move the onion a little, and now I'm going to put it at this point. Look, I got 2 little leaves there, huh? Laurel's scarce. I like a little turn and I wait 5 minutes because I'm going to add garlic. Okay, right now it's not worth it. 5 minutes have already passed and the garlic is added. Now the rest of the garlic. Why? Because if I add the garlic with the onion, it tends to burn, so I hope that the onion is a little pochadita that has released its juice, and between the oil and the juice, it no longer burns me. Okay, so, there it is. Let's see it, and now nothing. Let's put nothing now. 1 second and put the meatballs, okay? Come on, look what delicious dish has come out. Come on, let's put them all so that not a single one is left on the plate. Go. There it is. At this point, I'm going to put it, look at a little bit of cognac. We're going to put it on this side. Otherwise, it doesn't look okay. A little squirt shot, something like that. That's going to give it an exquisite touch. I use a lot of cognac with stews because it gives it a great flavor. Look, and now comes the beer. Of course, it's on the star. There it is. There's the rest. I'll drink it. Well, nothing. You already know that it doesn't move anything other than with the pan. It goes back and forth. No putting the spoon in so as not to break it. Well, cook. Look, this has been cooking here for a little while. Nothing, about 8 minutes, and at this point I'm going to throw it out. I'm going to rectify the salt. I've tried it before and it's a little dull, so I want to kick him out. But I haven't done it until now because I like brandy in itself and beer makes me salty. So I tried it and it was dull, so I added a little salt. Nothing more, that's it. I'm not going to add more. Well, nothing. Cookie, look, it's been about 7 or 8 minutes since we've thrown more. The liquids, and now I'm going to put it in. It's time to add it, even if it is thick in the sauce, because with the flour I have thickened it. But I am going to add the 4 or 5 almonds that I had there. I didn't fry them, huh? I threw it out as it is. I beat it, and I'm throwing it here. So nothing, 111 minutes, nothing more, and we get it out. Is that a way to fatten the sauce? And it has its nutrients. Look, what better thing than broth, so as not to add more flour or not to add more thickener. One way to add, therefore, almond flour or thick crushed almonds. Meals are very good, and that is phenomenal for the body. Well, cook, I'm done. It didn't take long to make the meatballs, which is with the beer sauce. Well, nothing. 15 minutes like many of us have. They have gone here, and that's it. Well, look. We have already finished our recipe today, also our meatballs and beer. This is an easy and delicious recipe, as I always say. Perfect. Look, I'm already putting it on the plate. We're spreading it, and I'm going to add the sauce. There it is. See? Look, the sauce between the ajito, the chives, and the almond is not an almond sauce. Huh? Be careful. If I had wanted almond sauce, I would have added another kind of majados, and more almonds is not worth it. We have only done it to thicken and make the crunch good, because you are also eating the almonds, you are wetting the sauce, and obviously you are with the almond crunch. Look what a delicious dish, eh, cook? Look what a show, eh? And the beer I had left over I poured for myself. Man, that's a feast. Today, well, I'm going to try one to see how it turns out. It's sure to be delicious. Because it looks good, a little bit of sauce, although I have even more in the pot. I haven't poured it all in, otherwise you won't see. Everything spilled. Let's open it. Let's hope it doesn't come out talking, and I'm going to try. Come on, let's go inside. This exquisite is very good. How good it is. My beer meatballs are wonderful. Easy and really delicious recipe. I repeat it again. Look what you paint and how juicy it is inside. This is fantastic. Well, that. And now the beer that goes to your health? Of course I do. Well, cook, I hope you liked today's video. I hope you leave me the comments that have appeared to you, and that we will see each other in the next video. Okay, come on. See you later.